Alright. So uh hope that the stream shows up at some point. For those of you unaware, I'm currently working on making a giant dice, and of course as soon as I click go live, the dog starts barking at the door. So the idea is that I've made an application that lets you move around the screen, like as it hopefully will not take forever to run. So it basically lets you move around the screen in discrete intervals. This will help like maneuvering the dice and actually placing them where you want them. And you can use the mouse to look around at the moment. I'm planning on adding other features, like maybe using the arrow keys or something to also turn the camera or something, like do some kind of other form of movement. And then you're going to be able to place the dice around and like set the colors and stuff so you can sort of visualize what things look like. Just give me a second to let the dog in, or he will keep barking and it will be really obnoxious. Okay. So today's stream probably won't be too long, but hopefully like a half hour, maybe an hour or two. But the plan for the stream is to implement some kind of cursor that hey UK Rust. Ugh, like my text is so small. So yeah, the apparently getting stream audio 0 bit rate. That's concerning. All right, weird. Yep, don't need this. The idea, to implement some kind of cursor that will let you move around and hopefully place objects like on the screen. So I guess we'll start. Yeah, I don't know. It's like it just says on the side, like in my console, that it's getting 0 bit rate for audio, which is lower than the recommend 128 kilobits. So I don't know what's going on. Be very careful doing this, yeah, because it's going to pop my other window open. Hopefully that had nothing suspicious. We're going to go Blender. So we'll start by making a cursor in Blender, which is just going to be like a 1x1 cube, but with the middle cut out, so it's just like sort of a frame. And that'll hopefully allow me to I'm trying to think you know, you can visualize where exactly the player has selected, sort of thing. So we'll scale it by 0.9, I guess. I have no idea if this is the best way to do this, but we need to click scale 0.9. It'd be so much nicer to like programmatically generate the cursor so that like I could do certain things, like make the cursor different sizes depending on how the players like what the player's selecting. Like if they select like a 2x2 region, then generate the cursor without necessarily scaling it up, like not 009, like a flex box style like cursor. But that's going to be a little bit outside of the scope of like doing it in a single like half-hour stream. So for now, we'll just go with 3D modeling it. So I think if I select all of these and say like extrude, and then we scale them. Yeah. Okay. Just scale. So we want to because I clicked something. Okay, so just going to scale them by like 0.9. Right, so we probably want to go something more like U and U scale that way 0.9. you and you scale scale that 0.9. You and you scale that way 0.9. Okay. And then we just need to select all these faces after I've just scaled them like that and delete them. Delete faces. And that should be a nice little cube. We could probably do something fancy like select it and then be like add in a modifier, bevel, that kind of thing, but for now it's a 1x1 cube that we can like import into Bevy and use as a cursor. And like it'd be better to probably break it apart and programmatically generate it so that like it's like a flexbox style where like this corner is its own thing and this corner is its own thing, and then like each of those legs could be their own thing. So then you could make a bigger box without necessarily the borders getting thicker. But we'll do that in a future video when I've actually got something planned out. This is an impromptu stream by the fact that my works said that if I come in 15 minutes earlier each day during the week, I get to go home at lunchtime on Friday. So I'm going to hopefully be able to stream most Fridays for a couple of hours, because it means I finish work before everyone else. So I can come home and do some streaming without having to worry about there being too much noise and stuff. Soon to be like cursor. That was nice, by that. Now I gotta remember where I saved it. I think it's here. Rust stuff projects. At the top, dice builder. No, so it must be in YouTube. Yeah, dice builder. There we go. New folder. Asset. Okay. And now I gotta remember how to actually import stuff into Bevy. So we're gonna say where do I think it's in spawn camera. I spawn the camera. So instead of just spawning a default cube, we're gonna say so asset server or as asset server like so, and then we should be able to, instead of doing this, say asset server dot load mesh 1. Is that how it works? I don't know. Probably mesh is 0 if I was to guess. We might have to look at the Bevy tutorials on how to load a GLTF mesh. Yeah, I saw an error, so it's probably not loaded. What do the errors say? The file at set mesh here contains the following asset. Capital M mesh. Mesh 0. Well, at least I somewhat remember how this stuff works. So if we go, nope, it didn't render this time either. Did it spit out an error, or is it? Interesting. Well, it didn't render it, that's for sure. I want to open it and then close and go like, what was the error? What did you put out? Nothing. So no, so I think 0 is just scene 0, but it might be. I don't know. Like what I'm doing, I'm trying to get it to error again, so it tells me. So it's saying that I can say material 0, mesh 0, primitive 0, node, and scene. And I'm guessing I need to say mesh 0, primitive 0, because that's what I'm trying to load. As in, like, mesh 0 would work, but it's not a mesh like Bevy does meshes. Instead, it's a primitive. It's the primitive that the mesh contains, would be my guess. Yep. See. Okay. Really need to lock the cursor. It would make looking around much easier. All right. So next we'll add some movement. I'm just going to double check how to spell cursor. So we're going to say mod voxel cursor. I'm going to say voxel cursor, and we're going to say we need a derive component struct cursor. So again, this is probably where you would stash the cursor size. So, but again, just click on with that standard, like no modifications for now cursor. So we're gonna say we're gonna plug in. I'm gonna say this is the cursor plugin. It's a voxel cursor plugin. Okay. Let me say app.add system update. It's going to be move cursor. Okay. If you definitely know, yep, there we go. So we need to add the system move cursor. So I can move cursor, which is going to take in a query. Which is going to be a query for mute transform with cursor. We need to make u mutable. I guess we should probably put some config data inside here. So this is going to be move up key code. I need to. Why is it outputting so many errors? Need to use the Bevy preload. Bevy preload. Okay. So we'll say to move up his page up. And move, okay. Then we just go 256. Okay, and then we say you gonna move down. It's gonna be page down. Okay. We want to move left, which will be key left. No, left. I don't know why my autocomplete's not working. Have I like busted the Rust analyzer? There's one error. Is it just left? No. Left. Alt left, control left, super left, shift left. Arrow left. What's it? Arrow left. Arrow right. Arrow up and arrow down. Okay, so then you're going to move right, move. It should be more like Z or Y. Move Y up, Y down. Oh, apparently YouTube's not receiving enough video data. Oh, Starlink, good fun. X down, up, Z, up, Z, down. Okay, so there's all my keys. Right, these aren't, that's probably why my autocomplete is not working. That is incorrect. We want to just say that they are key codes. We don't want to specify what they are. So then when we come down here, we are going to instead tell you to have the voxel cursor and paste them all in there. Then we have to select all these two. Like that. What is your problem? Oh, they're all private. Yeah. Okay, we'll just say hub. Look, we've got that in twice. Okay. So there we go. We'll set them all. I don't know why you're having a problem because you wouldn't return it on top. There you go. Alright, so now it's configurable for what keys move the cursor. Maybe I'll make it an option that when people use it, if they want to be able to move them around. It's partly I'm carrying over like because I made the voxel camera off stream, but it's basically just a copy of the camera that I made for the plugin jam, and I'm kind of like made it as modular as I can so that like you can specify all the bits and pieces. I feel like some of this should be in like its own thing because like the voxel size might be shared between the cursor and the camera. So we might need to split some of this stuff off. Interesting. Okay. So maybe we'll go mod voxels, and then we'll make mod voxels like that. And then we're going to move both of these in there. And then we're going to take both of these and put them in here. And we're going to say pub use voxel cam and pub use voxel cursor. Voxels. Like so. Voxels. Okay. Then it's just voxels. Okay, cool. So that just makes everything slightly more self-contained in that they've got a module called voxels that then has the camera and the cursor. And then the idea being that I can now go in here and say things like the voxel size is going to be popped out and placed in here to be used by either of them. I need to go here and say use super voxel size. Right, and then we need to use Bevy as well. Use Bevy preload. Alright. Right. Copy this over as well. Just doing housekeeping as we tidy things back up to the way they were. Alright. So that also means that like the stuff that's not relevant to the face cam can be moved out of the face cam. Okay. So what's next? Cursor. Right. So we need to go for cursor in cursor. Except it's probably going to be cursors. And we need a mutable reference. Okay. For cursor in cursors. We need the input. And we probably need to grab the cursor as well. Because again, we now store information there, which means we can get rid of this width. Tidy things up a little bit. Unwrap that, go cursor and config. Okay, so we need input. which is going to be a res key button input button key code. Okay, so then we're going to say let mute delta equal 3 0. And then we go to if config dot okay, no, it's if input dot just pressed input. Let's just nick it from the camera because I did like an interesting thing. So I think in the camera we've got like a delay here, so a min move time and a hold time, which I think technically for the arrow keys we're just going to put a or for the cursor we'll just put a hold time, and this is how long you have to hold the button before it considers it to be held, or like before it will move again because you're still holding the button. And this was so that like when you hold it down, you don't like go 1 step per frame, and so instead of it's now you go 10 steps per frame. So if you just tap it, you'll move a little bit. If you hold it, it'll move further. It might need to be slower than this, but it just needs to be long enough that you don't get multiple presses in a single like single frame. So we need time as well, which is time means we need a component derive component struct last moved. It just holds the duration. No, it's an instant, isn't it? Instant. No, I think it's a duration. So then we say we need time, which is res time, and we say you have to where? Yeah, that'll work. And then we say okay, so we're just doing this again. If you watch my my jam stream, you'll remember like I had it set up so that like every time you add something to a thing, so we're gonna say like we call it new cursor. Every time you add something, which is going to be an entity that added a cursor, like so, every time you add something, it'll then do it. So we go for it'll make sense in a second. In new cursor, we need time as well. No, we can just call it 0. Command dot entity cursor dot insert slash move duration from really 0. Okay, so basically if you add a cursor to an entity, it'll automatically get the last, and then we're going to fn remove. Remove. Moved. And that's going to be added. Mute. Commands. Removed component. The system parameter that yields entities that had their component removed and had or have been despawned. Okay. So we need to say is removed cursor. Then we say command step. No. Or command entity cursor. No dot event. No. Not read. Clear events and read. Okay. Just mutable. Okay. So basically, if you add a cursor to an entity, it'll add the last moved set to 0 milliseconds ago, and then 0 milliseconds after the game started. And then if you then remove last moved, if you then remove the cursor from an entity, it will then remove that thing. Not really important what I'm doing because there shouldn't, or at least I don't plan to be adding and removing the cursor all the time. But it's one of those, like, I'm trying to build it more of a, like a plugin to like practice my skills than I am trying to build something self-contained. And also another reason for doing it is that in the future I may decide that instead of the cursor being its own entity, instead you like add the cursor to the dice and then you move those dice because it's like the equivalent of being selected rather than like a specific cursor that moves around. Instead it's a selected die. Anyway, so add systems. And that systems is going to be our last, I think, is probably when I want to go. And then we're going to say add last move. And remove last move. So then it's going to go at the end. So like whatever you've done in the next system, it'll add it. It also means that, like, in theory, like the turn you add a cursor, it won't be able to be moved, which I guess also avoids like turn it being added then moving, because it technically won't have this until the end of the frame. Okay, if last moved dot 0, so it's if time dot elapsed minus last moved is greater than is less than config dot hold delay, then continue. So basically, if it moved more recently than the hold delay, then you don't get to move. I think this is mutable as well, because if we do end up moving it, we will update last moved. So if input just pressed No. So then it's, instead of being just pressed, it's pressed. And we want to say config dot move I guess x down, delta minus equals, okay, it's delta dot x minus equals 1. And then we want to just copy that. So I'm going to say this is x up, this is plus equals 1, and this would be y. This would be y. We need 2 more. Oh. We should probably also, you know, plus minus 1, like that kind of thing. And then we say up and down and change the y. And then copy one that's actually in the correct state up, rather than like 2 more copies of one that need to be modified in 2 ways. Okay, it's y up, down. We copy this, paste this, and we go. Okay. Z, Z. All these ones need to be floats. One of the few things that I think annoys me the most in Rust is that, like, you have to put the dot on a float. Like, I get why, and it's because I've literally run into this bug in like the little bit of C++ that I've done. I ran into this where it converted a float, or what we thought was a float, into an integer because we didn't put the dot. But it is a bit annoying that, like, you've got to remember to do the dot, and if you do a whole bunch of copy pasting like that before you realize the dot's not there, you better put the dot everywhere. Anyway, so if delta dot no, it didn't have magnitude. Interesting. Floor. Yep, min, max, normalize. We definitely don't want to normalize. And sigma truncate. Try normalize angle. Okay. Why does it say alias magnitude, but it wouldn't let me type magnitude? Okay. Anyway, so if delta length is greater than 0, we say cursor plus equals translation plus equals delta, and last moved dot 0 equals time dot elapsed. Okay. Why? Because you're not beautiful. Okay. But I made you beautiful. Okay. So if you actually did press a button, we move the cursor. We also need to get the voxel size. Just gonna do res voxel size, like so. And then we say times voxel size dot 0 dot get. We're just going to add that to voxel size. So we go get, just takes in itself and returns a U8. Self dot 0 dot get. Okay, so then we don't have to do that. It's just get. Okay. That is F32. Okay, so we say cursor translation plus equals delta times the voxel size path move 0 equals time elapsed. So that should mean that once you moved, you can't move it for another 100 milliseconds or whatever you've set the hold delay to. So I have it set page up is move up and down. Okay, so if I move back here and then I use the arrow keys. Oh, we should probably add the plugin. That would help, wouldn't it? We need to. Oh, look, I've got the voxel camera plugin. So maybe we'll go to voxels and we'll make a voxel plugin as well. Like so, the voxel plugin will take the plugin, the voxel size. Like so. Go back to main. I'm just going to call this voxel plugin. Voxel plugin. That needs to be public. Voxel size. The voxel camera. Where did I hide it? Somewhere. The direction, it's move camera. There. Okay. So this plugin doesn't require anything now. And we're just gonna put that there. Okay. I wish there was a way to make the compiler catch that, but we'll be good now. Okay. I need to make each of these plugins add the other plugins. So this plugin needs to then add plugins. Voxel camera plugin and voxel cursor plugin, like so. Then we go back to main, we run, and now our cursor should move on its own. All right, so we go back. See if I press that, it's actually technically going the wrong way, so I need to flip those, but that's correct. And page up and page down. All right, so you just need to flip the X and the Y, which again is a config rather than an actual. So the Z. So this is down and up. Okay, which is extra confusing, but that's why I tend to make it like this, because it means I don't have to. I go like, hey, if I've said move Z up, I don't have to go and remember what it is. It's literally like move Z up will always positive the Z direction, but that turns out to actually be down arrow key to move in the direction I expect it to move. All right. So what's next on our to-do? I guess we can move on to materials. So kind of should go maybe into GIMP. I feel like this is going to open my monitor again. No, didn't. And we're going to go create new. So I need it to be the 714. That's next with 21. 21 by 21. No, 21 by 28. Okay, so what we need to do is go add alpha channel. We need to select a 7 by 7 grid. Where does it show me my grid size? 7 by 7. Let me say delete. Delete. So what I'm doing now is I'm making a texture that will be like the dice model thing. So then down here it's going to be 14. 14. And this will be the dice that actually get placed on the dice. So how do I explain it better? Like when it places dice, it'll be these dice specifically. Why can't I? Oh, because I've not selected it. I do that. There we go. There we go. Okay, so the white dice, and then we're gonna go like maybe grey. First up, greyish dice because that white's way too white. And then we'll go like a darker grey. And then we're gonna go. Oh, the fuck. We need this to be 1 pixel in size, please. Just doing some basic pixel art because I'm not going to spend ages drawing an actual dice texture. And I happen to know that from my plan of doing a 7 by 7 dice, that 7 by 7 will give me a dice that is the right size. 2, 4, 5. That doesn't seem right. 2, 4, 5. Ah, because it's like this. Like this. Like this. Like this. Because it's each of those. Okay. So that means that we need to go, like, I guess, black dots. And so we go center you. And then this is part of the reason I'm making the application, is because it should make it easier to sort of like lay out the thing. So then like that. And then opposite the 2 is the 5. And then I guess it's 3. And that means the 4. Okay. See, so like it's things like I don't know if the 2 should be in the corners, whether the 4 should be these 4 instead. But anyway, this is literally just a random dice texture. So we're gonna file. We're gonna export as YouTube dice builder assets blank die.png. All right, and then we export that, and there we go. Okay, so there's our blank die. Then we have to go back into Blender. We have to go Shift A mesh cube. Give us a new cube. Turn this cube off. And we need to go texture paint. No, it's UV. How do I UV? UV editor. Hey, and then we're gonna import. How do I import? No. So I guess we need to add a texture to you. New material, and then that material needs a texture somehow. I don't texture. There we go. Image preview. Yeah. No image setting mapping. I don't know how to use Blender. YouTube dice builder assets like die open image. Yeah, no. So somewhere texture. So there's no texture in materials, which is weird because I really would have thought that the materials would have had a texture. Hmm. Okay. Preview. Surface. Base color. Hmm. Subsurface. Volume setting. Viewpoint duration. Mm-hmm. 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 Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. So somehow I don't know how to use the UV map editor. Is it kind of how do I select pixels? Hmm. This tool? On tool? This tool? No, that just draws shit. Move. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay. Alright. I feel like I need to actually be able to specifically set you to like. Right, you are set specifically to 0. Now I want you to be 0. Okay. And then we're going to go. If I grab you and move you to like there. Yep. 0.333. Okay. 0.666. Hmm. Hmm. 0.333. Wait, I think it's 0.667 then. Same with you. It'd be 0.667. And then you'd be 1. You'd be 1. You'd be 0.667. And you would be 0.333. Right? Can I select both of these and say 0.667? Select both of these and say 0.33. 0.33. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. And then when I go back to the world, like if I just go back to the 3D view, do you have a dice rendered on you now? No. Uh, how do I get back at edit? Okay. Remember, back to the 3D view. We want to be in object mode. Why are you not rendering a thing? Hmm. Hmm. That is your texture. This is the. Yeah. No. Texture paint. No texture. Sample image. Hey. Okay. It looks dodgy as all buggery, but that's more because of the shading. Oh. Alright. Let's export this as a GLTF. I guess we'll just call it die. Export. And then we go back to our code here, and we say fm spawn die. Oh god, I can't spell right now. That's for sure. Derive resource. This resource needs to be struct die handle, which is going to be a handle mesh and a handle not mesh, standard material. Okay, hopefully this works. And then we're going to implement for world. Import from world for die handle. Let me say for world and for world. That as server equal world dot resource asset server, and then we say die handle right. Asset server dot load, and the path would be, so this is for the mesh, which is going to be die dot glb hashtag and how did we do it? So it's hashtag mesh 0 primitive, hashtag mesh 0 primitive 0, and then we're going to say asset server dot right, so we don't need the asset server, we're going to say that mute std at, which is going to be world dot resource mute, something like that. But Mr. No R, so mute. So why can't I get access to it? This worked. I think it's just something like this, isn't it? And then we want to say we want assets, standard material. Oh, because I didn't put an equal sign. That's why it was just being fucking weird. So we kind of need to go like that. So I guess we'll do this one first. We're going to say mat equal std mat dot add standard material. But we need the asset. All right. I guess we'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do dot clone like so, and then we don't have to do this bit. We can instead just go std mat dot add. We say standard material. We say base texture some asset server dot load BLA DIE dot PNG dot default. Wait, it needs to return itself. Alright, that should load the die assets, and then we need to just go up top here and make sure that's actually inserted into the world. So we're going to be like init resource die handles. Alright, and then this is going to need the resource command, so we need command need inputs. resource, button inputs. Key code. Okay, so our button inputs, and then we also going to need die handles, which is going to be a red die handles. Commands need to be mutable. And then we say if inputs dot just pressed key code space commands that spawn. Right, we need the cursor as well. This is going to be a query for transform. Oh god, it's a good stretch that was. With cursor. With voxels cursor. Okay. I'm gonna say let okay offset equal cursor dot single. No, it's not single. I want single because single will panic, won't it? Get single. Which should just be thumb, shouldn't it? No, it is a result. Because it needs to tell you whether there was none or there was more than one. Else, return. Okay. So, what are we doing? We're sorry. Oh, don't drink and try and... Don't yawn and try and drink at the same time. Not a good idea. Input space, cursor, spawn, bundle. PBR bundle. Transform will be offset. Clone. Material will be die. Handles dot one clone. Right, now to see if it actually works, we're just gonna go dot. So I don't. Is that Russian? I don't know. I can't read that. It looks Cyrillic. Die. Alright, and then if this works, that'll be the end of the stream because like you can hear noises in the background. Hopefully, it'll spawn in our die. Yeah, still can't read it. I mean, is it spawning it? Doesn't seem to be doing anything. Did we get an error when we started? It does say error. Path not found. Dice better assets die. Oh no, how did I write GLF? It's GL, GLB. Okay. Okay, back. Oh, well, apparently they're invisible dice, but that I suspect has more to do with the fact that I think I've exported the cube instead of the solid cube. Hmm. Oh, I bet you it's exporting everything. Include. Okay. Go here. Go here. There we go. Export. Include selected objects. Okay. Let's try that then. Hey, there is definitely one last thing to do. I also don't get why it's twice the size it should be, but don't need to worry about that for now. Alright, so there's another thing I can do to quickly just make it look so much better. We're going to say dot set image plugin default sampler going to be image sampler descriptor nearest. That should make it pixel art rather than blending them like it's doing. Hey, now it's not blurry. So with that, we can now build dice. And then so if we come over here, we can do a different side of the dice. Ta-da! Alright, I'd say it's a pretty productive stream. So thank you all for tuning in. And I will probably see you either next week or whenever I get time to stream. Thank you for watching.